My Wife and Her Double Life. Chapter 1. Her Child. Beiyi, after I die, go and look for the child. The child's father is Ning Shaochen. Promise me that you won't meet him with your true appearance. Shen. Beiyi stood in the living room of the high-end villa, her mother's last words reverberating in her mind. 6 years ago, her mother was diagnosed with cancer, so Shen Beiyi became a surrogate at the tender age of 18 to raise the funds needed for her mother's treatment. After carrying the child for 10 months, she gave birth to a baby boy. However, before she could even gaze upon him, he was taken away. Ever since then, her mother had reminded her time and again that she was never to show her true face before people. Now that her mother had passed away, her only living relative was that child. Are you the new nanny? A man's deep and alluring voice rang out, catching her off guard. Startled, Shen Beiyi instinctively raised her head, only to meet a pair of dark and cold eyes that seemed to look right into one's soul. This was her child's father, Ning Shaochen. He slowly descended the stairs, giving off a chilly aristocratic air. While his outer appearance was handsome and bewitching, he exuded danger. Shen Beiyi quickly lowered her head, not daring to look at him anymore. Yes, I am the new nanny. Shen Beiyi. Shen Beiyi, 23 years old. Your father died prematurely, while your mother passed away from cancer last month. Your highest education level is high school. Ning Shaochen recited her background information by heart. Then, his sharp brows furrowed. Why are you applying to be a nanny when you're still so young? Even without lifting her head, Shen Beiyi could sense the force of oppression radiating off him. To take care of my mother, I dropped out during high school, without any skills. It is difficult to find a job. And so when I happened to see that the Ning family was recruiting a nanny without any requirements of academic qualifications, I came to try my luck. It is difficult to find a job. Then, how did you pay for your mother's medical expenses in recent years? Aware that she'd be under suspicion, Shen Beiyi had prepared a perfect explanation long ago. I've asked my friends and relatives for a loan several times, so I urgently need a job right now to pay off my debts. The Ning family isn't the only one who is recruiting a nanny. Nonetheless, the pay offered by the Ning family is the highest, and I need money, Shen Beiyi answered calmly. Frowning, Ning Shaochen scrutinized the plain-looking woman before him. Although her answer was very sincere and reasonable, the feeling of strangeness within him just wouldn't go away. Just when he was about to open his mouth and ask her another question, a servant suddenly hastened down the stairs and reported, Mr. Ning, little young master is awake and clamoring to see you. Ning Shaochen glanced at the time, for he still had an important transoceanic meeting in a while. Thereupon, he raised his head and spoke to Shen Beiyi. You can only stay if my son accepts you. Do you understand? Yes. I'll definitely take good care of little young master. Shen Beiyi's usually calm and unruffled voice carried a trace of excitement and joy. As soon as Ning Shaochen had left, the servant urged, hurry up and follow me upstairs. Little young master is throwing a tantrum, and he is not easy to mollify. Upon hearing that, Shen Beiyi hastily followed her upstairs. Little young master, please eat something. If you don't eat lunch, you'll starve. I am not eating, so don't pester me. I want to see daddy. As they drew closer to the bedroom, the commotion inside became increasingly audible. The child's voice was clear and young. Shen Beiyi unconsciously sped up, a layer of shimmering moisture blanketing her eyes. This was her son, the son whom she'd been missing for 5 long years. Finally, I get to see him. Valiantly suppressing her elation and trying her utmost best not to allow any emotion to show on her face, she cast her gaze at the adorable child in the middle of the bed. The little boy was wrapped in a blanket with only his head showing, his slightly curly hair a tad messy. At this moment, His face was all scrunched up, and his lips tightly pressed together from anger. He looked truly cute. She'd fantasized about his looks thousands of times, but she never thought that he'd be this delicate. If it weren't for the various obvious male features he had, she would have thought that he was a girl, for he looked exactly like a girl. Unnaturally beautiful. Precisely speaking, he looked exactly like her. No doubt. He was her son. The blood bond between them had her heart trembling violently, tightening her fists to rein in her impulse of hugging him. Shen Beiyi greeted him. Xiaoshi. Ning Xiaoshi turned to look at her, his sharp brows furrowing slightly. Madam, who are you? I am Shen Beiyi, the new nanny. Shen Beiyi smiled faintly, but her voice was shaking slightly. Come here, Ning Xiaoshi ordered. As soon as Shen Beiyi had approached Ning Xiaoshi as requested, he took out a tablet from under his pillow, and his tiny hands keyed in something swiftly. Very quickly, he turned the tablet to face her and said, "Key in your name." Shen Beiyi was taken aback when she saw the complicated program on the screen, but still, she complied and keyed in her name. After about a minute, Ning Xiaoshi placed the tablet aside and raised his head. Madam Shen, your background information before you were 18 years old is fake. His tone harbored no doubts, and Shen Beiyi froze instantly. How genius is this kid and his father? Even when her background information was flawless, they could still sense that something was amiss. With his arms crossed, Ning Xiaoshi stared at Shen Beiyi sternly. Madam Shen, did you change your background information to seduce my dad? Welcome to download Flipread app to read my wife and her double life novel full story online.